I knew there was a group, I didn't know if that was in time.
Pursuant to Section 841411 of Nebraska statutes, the next regular meeting of the Board of Education of Douglas County School District 0001 and Board of Educational Service Unit Number 19 will be held on Wednesday, January 23rd, 2019 at 6:30 p.m. in the Board Meeting Room of the Teacher Administrative Center, 3215 Cummings Street. The agenda will be kept current and available for public inspection in the Office of the Secretary of the Board of Education at the Administrative Building during regular working hours. Pursuant to Section 841412 of Nebraska statutes, the public is hereby informed that a current copy of the Nebraska Open Meetings Act is posted in the board meeting room on the north wall. Please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance by Omaha North's JRTC.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Forward, forward. Up, right. Forward, march.
Thank you. It is a welcome to our first board meeting of 2019. Moving on to our next item, we will be doing the oath of office for our two new board members, Nancy Crackey and Kimara Snipe. You ladies ready? Please read your oath of office.
Okay. I, Kimara Snipe,
Nancy
do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Nebraska against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I take this obligation freely and without mental reservation or for the purpose of evasion, and that I will faithfully and impartially perform the duties of the office of member of the Board of Education according to law and to the best of my ability. And I do further swear that I do not advocate, nor am I a member of any political party or organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of this state by force or violence, and that during such time as I am in this position, I will not advocate nor become a member of any political party or organization that advocates the overthrow of the government of the United States or of the state by force or violence, so help me God.
Thank you. We'll take a short 5-minute recess for anybody that would like to take photos with the two new board members on the school board. So you can take photos in the middle. I'm available for photos as well.
Okay. It keeps going down.
My little...
Matt, I've missed you. The holiday break was too long.
It is pretty warm. And
It is warm in here. Somebody just say, is it warm in here?
good evening. Dr. Holman will lead us in the OPS vision and mission statement.
First Division, every student, every day, prepared for success. Now the mission, Omaha Public Schools prepares all students to excel in college, career, and life.
Thank you. Mr. Ray, roll call, please.
Cassidy,
Here.
Goding, Holman,
Present.
Cracky, Perlman,
Here.
Ryan,
Present.
Smith,
Here.
Snipe,
Present.
Snow.
Here.
8 present.
Mrs. Goding had a prior engagement to tonight's meeting. I will entertain a motion to excuse Mrs. Goding from tonight's meeting.
So moved. Second.
We have a motion on the floor by Ms. Ryan, second by Dr. Holman. Roll call, please.
Snipe,
Here.
Aye.
Snow,
Aye.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Holman,
Aye.
Cracky,
Sorry. Aye.
Perlman,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Smith. Aye. 8 aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to school spotlight, Mrs. Monique Farmer.
Good evening, Board President Snow, members of the board, and Superintendent Dr. Logan, and Happy New Year to all. Welcome back. We are pleased this evening to present Stephen Pruss. He is a senior at Benson High Magnet School, and he is tonight's OPS Proud Spotlight. Stephen has made outstanding accomplishments as a violinist in the Omaha area. He's been a violinist with the Omaha Area Youth Orchestra since 2008. He is the concert master of the Youth Symphony for Omaha Public Schools, All City Orchestra, and the Benson Orchestra. In October, Stephen performed as a violin soloist with the Omaha Symphony and has been in the top 10 violins of Nebraska All-State Orchestra since 2017. Stephen also enjoys teaching and has the opportunity to coach younger violinists. Outside of music, he is a member of the Benson JROTC. He's also on the tennis, swim, and track teams. We salute Stephen for his ambition and his dedication. And at this time, I would like to welcome Todd Martin, who's assistant principal at Benson High Magnet, to the podium to share some brief remarks with you.
Good evening, Board. Superintendent Logan. Didn't do him much justice. I could stay up here for about half an hour, 45 minutes, but I know there's always a 5-minute time limit. So just to give you a brief example of this young man, this is the kind of young man that he's top 10 in about everything that he does. Takes school very seriously, takes his academics seriously, takes being a student athlete very seriously. And to say that he's involved in our school puts it very mildly. He's top 15 in his class, of a class of about 333 students. He's taking all AP and honors classes, constantly coming in, trying to squeeze one more in. Has very high ambitions. He is a member of ROTC. He's been a letter winner, I believe, 3 years in a row for boys swimming, boys tennis, and also boys track. He's been playing violin for about 14 years. I've been in this district 28 years. I'm a product of this district, and I can tell you it's young men like this that make our jobs very, very easy to do. When you walk in, you see them because you know you're just going to have a great day. So without any further ado, I'm going to introduce you to one of our top students at Omaha Benson High School, and that's Mr. Stephen Pruss.
Hi, I'm Stephen Pruss. I've been playing violin for 14 years. I started when I was 3 years old. My mom started me at that age. My intended major when I go to college is biochemistry. I want to be a general surgeon when I grow up. In college, I plan on doing Air Force ROTC. I already won the national scholarship to do so.
Thank you so much, Stephen, for everything you've done in high school. You have so many accomplishments. How do you juggle that and your social life and everything all at once?
That's a great question. I motivate myself to keep on doing the right things, and Benson has given me a lot of opportunities through JROTC and orchestra and through academics, so I feel like giving back to them as much as they've given to me, and that's what really motivates me.
Awesome. What advice would you give any student out there that is dealing with as many classes and extracurricular activities of how to just balance their life? What advice would you give them?
Never give up, never drop anything, stick to what you have, and it's because if you give up, then you lose. So.
Well said. Thank you so much. Anybody on the board have any comments or questions for Stephen? Mr. Smith?
Congratulations on all your hard work representing Benson. I used to coach there, and so I know it's a great school and great people there. Good luck in your future. What college do you plan to go to?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
What college do you plan to go to?
Northwestern College in Chicago is my #1 choice. Okay. University of Colorado Boulder is my second.
Okay, great. Well, good luck. We hope to get you back here after you finish up.
Thank you.
Ms. Cassidy.
Congratulations, Stephen. I just want to say, first off, I'm a little disappointed that we don't get to hear violin this evening. I was hoping that you would. When I saw you were our spotlight, I was very much hoping that you'd maybe play for us this evening, but I'm sure that we'll see you somewhere famous. I think we should all probably get your autograph tonight, because I have a feeling someday we're going to see you on maybe the stage of Carnegie Hall or someplace more, a distinguished stage. So just best of luck to you. I have to say, I'm sitting here thinking, boy, I wish one of my daughters was a little bit older. Yeah. Anyway, you make us OPS proud, so thank you so much, and have a good rest of the school year.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Dr. Logan.
I'm assuming your first chair.
Yes.
Yes. And what's your favorite, who's your favorite composer, and do you have a favorite piece?
Right now, Sibelius is my favorite composer. I've been listening to the Sibelius Final Concerto really frequently lately. My favorite piece isn't actually the Sibelius Final Concerto, but the Lalo Symphony Espagnole.
Okay.
It's basically the Lalo Violin Concerto. I played it with the Omaha Symphony recently.
Oh, very nice.
Wow. Thank you so much. It would be an honor if we would be able to shake your hand tonight, and then congratulate you again for this tremendous accomplishment, and hopefully you will continue to make OPS proud as you move forward and go to Northwestern. Big Ten.
Okay, everybody look this way. Big smiles. 1, 2. Couple more. 1, 2, 3. Good.
Moving on to Superintendent Communications. Dr. Logan.
Good evening, President Snow and members of the Board of Education, and welcome to our newest members. Students, staff, teachers, families, welcome back to the new school year. I don't think it was new school year, but new calendar year. I hope everyone had a relaxing holiday break and has returned refreshed and renewed for the start of second semester. Students, I want to remind you to get to bed early every night. I'm sure many of you had the opportunity to stay up later than usual during the break. Remember to turn off those new devices and the old ones too, so you can rest and come to school each morning with your brains ready to go. We look forward to a productive semester. And indeed, our student spotlight, wow, he sets the bar really high. Just so impressive. Just a reminder that the Alice Buffett Outstanding Teacher Award is due next, I think it's Tuesday, January 15th. The award recognizes teachers making a difference in the lives of students every day. Please nominate an OPS teacher for this award, a deserving one, and tell us what he or she has done that has made a difference in the lives of students. Remember, January 15th is the last day. We are in the middle of kindergarten roundup, so parents who have a child entering kindergarten for the upcoming 2019-2020 school year and turn 5 before July 31st, 2019 can enter kindergarten in the fall. Parents, you asked, we listen, our math nights continue. The next one is January 15th at Beveridge Magnet Middle School on 120th Street. So for those of you who would like to come, we look forward to having you. Congratulations to the Morton Magnet Middle School 7th and 8th grade boys basketball team. The team won the 2018 city championship against Davis Middle School, 38-35, and on December 18th. To our students whose artwork made it to the Omaha Public Schools High School Art Exhibit, their work was featured at the Hot Shops Art Center throughout the month of December. Those schools include Benson High, Bryan High, Burke High, the Career Center, Central High School, North High Magnet, Northwest High, Multiple Pathways Accelerate, and South High Magnet School. The exhibit also featured work from students who attend classes at the Career Center. My last remarks are in reference to a meeting that I had last week with a parent. Last week, I met with a parent of a student who contacted me to offer suggestions that could be of benefit to all students as we work through the fundamental right of inclusion and providing for her child's educational and social emotional needs. We spoke with her this evening, and she has given permission to share her story, though her child's name and her child's school are redacted. Let me share some things I learned from her. To you, they may be unremarkable. They are all things we educators think we know. The passion and steadfastness at which she shared her perspectives is powerful. She depthly defined inclusion and its pure meaning, full participation to the best of a child's physical and cognitive abilities. She talked about inclusion, not just being in the room where it happens, but fully participating to the best of a child's physical and cognitive abilities. She also talked about district staff, working with parents who are strong advocates, and that once it is determined it is best for the child of a parent who is a strong advocate, that it should be good for all children similarly situated, and about not waiting for advocates, but just doing what we know to be right and good. These conversations are not easy, but they are necessary and right and good. Because this parent, speaking her truth, has unknowingly awakened and taught me yet another lesson, one of the many that I have learned from parents along the way, and now positioned as your superintendent of Omaha Public Schools can carry the banner, more knowledgeable and hopefully better, because of this parent's real advocacy, not on just behalf of her child, but on behalf of all children. So I salute her this evening. This concludes my remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Logan. Moving on to board members. Nancy Cracky.
If I can get through the agenda on the computer, it'll be a good night. And then the next night will get better. In the meantime, I wanted to thank all the voters out there, and I wanted to make a point about that. There were a lot of nice people I saw, and I did walk door to door. I didn't think I was going to, but then I did. I got started doing it, and it was really kind of fun. When it was over with, I regretted that it was all done. But in the meantime, what was happening is that I think that there were dogs out there that helped me win, and don't misconstrue that. I do not mean the people were the dogs, but in the meantime, I would go to the door and ring the doorbell or knock and stand there. And you know, most people don't just love to go to the door and answer it, especially when it might be getting dark or even in the daylight. They have other things that they like to do. So when they weren't coming, but the dogs were there, and the dogs were barking and barking and barking until the people finally came to the door. And then I was able to have a really good conversation. Also, I grew to like dogs very much. I don't have a dog. My daughter does, and they're always licking me or something. And so I haven't always liked dogs, but I had a real likeness of dogs through this election. So there were two things that happened. I won, and the dogs held me. And I just wanted to thank all the people out there that had those cute little dogs. And there was, sometimes they had two dogs coming to the door. And so they were getting out and around my feet and everything. And so it did a lot for me. So I want to thank them as well as the people. Thank you very much. I had fun.
Thank you. Any other comments from board members? Okay. Moving on to public comment. We have 4 speakers who have submitted requests to speak forms. The board has adopted policy 8346, which provides public comment for a period of 1 hour. That same policy limits individual speakers to a maximum of 5 minutes. We ask that you respect that time limit. Mr. Ray will let you know when you have 1 minute remaining and when you have 30 seconds remaining. If you are in need of an interpreter, please let Mr. Ray know, and one will be provided for you. We ask that you respect the opinions of, if the subject of your public comment is related to a particular student or staff members, we ask that you not mention the student or staff member by name and instead provide that information to Mr. Ray. He will assist us in looking into those types of details for you. If you do not get an opportunity to speak and would like to submit any written commentary, please provide it to Mr. Ray, who will make sure each board member gets a copy. As a reminder, we ask that you please spell your name and state your address before you begin your public comment. It is now 6:55, and our first speaker is Doug Kagan.
Good evening. My name is Doug Kagan, D-O-U-G-K-A-G-A-N, representing Nebraska Taxpayers for Freedom. I want to preface my remarks by acknowledging that the NPERS system now does handle your pension, but I'll start my comments with this. We taxpayers have several criticisms of the OPS pension system. From the documentation available on your website, your total pension liability at the end of 2018 was higher than at the beginning of the year. Your plan only about 50% funded. Your unfunded liability totaled $712 million as late as 2017. The OSERS funding ratio is lower than that of other Nebraska school district pension funding. By your own formula, now you must put more money into your pension system. The question is where you will find this money. We do not believe that the current market conditions will allow OPS to pay current obligations to OPS retirees or future retirees, as state law requires a higher contribution rate now. The school district deficit contribution of $15.5 million is high compared to that of the private sector, monies which OPS had to add to fund the required contribution rate. Your own fact sheet stated that your long-term strategy was to lower investment risk, yet OSERS apparently lost $16.2 million because of a massive fraud scheme perpetrated by personnel in one of the companies in which your board of trustees invested. From your August 2017 OSERS statement, fraudsters gained control of this company in April 2015. On December 15th of that year, the SEC filed a complaint against this company, the first warning sign. In January 2016, a federal court appointed a receiver for this company, the second warning sign. Yet your trustees and investment manager apparently took no immediate action. They should have been more vigilant. Your manager and board of trustees are attempting too late to recover these funds. We are not accusing anyone on this board, the trustees or investment manager, of either unethical conduct or illegal conduct. We are merely stating that taxpayers risked and continue to risk this loss because of your defined benefit pension system plan. You allow taxpayers to become victims. OPS is not a victim because the district has the means to fill the shortfall. Your retirees will not face a risk of loss because they all will receive their pensions. However, they too should have been more vigilant. Our advice to OPS is to eliminate the current Board of Trustees and replace it with more qualified outside financial advisors. Renegotiate with your workforce to expect lower pension payments. Move from a defined benefit pension plan to a defined contribution pension plan for all your employees to broaden risk. OPS should recalculate the defined benefit shortfall of $16.2 million without it adversely affecting district taxpayers. Taxpayers should not pay for this fiduciary quagmire through another bond issue or a property tax hike. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Terry Crawford.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Terry Crawford, 2829 North 110th Court. I am a member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated, but I wanted to be clear I am not here to speak on behalf of the sorority. I am 5 generations in Omaha, Nebraska. I am a product of OPS. My children have attended OPS, and they are adults now, and now I have grandchildren that attend OPS. I consider myself to be a community advocate, and I am here to speak on behalf of one of our community advocates. I heard your directions without mentioning names. I'm sure everyone will know who I'm talking about. This week, we were informed collectively, and in fact, I learned about it on social media, that someone was terminated from OPS. I was shocked about it, and I felt a little angst about it for several reasons. One of them was, I think I can speak for the community, but I don't pretend to speak for anyone else other than myself, that when this position of the Director of Diversity and Equity was created in OPS, I think we were collectively ecstatic that we had such a position, because we have lacked diversity in OPS and representation, particularly in the classroom for our young people. We were also equally happy when a particular person was chosen to fill that position. We were equally disappointed to learn that that person was walked out of the building with an escort and humiliated this week and terminated from his position. I am not asking about your internal process because I understand there's personal matters and other things that we are not privy to as the public, so I'm not asking about that, but I am here to speak on that person's behalf, I guess I'll say. I have known him for many, many years. I know him to be a person of integrity. I know him to be a person of character. I know him to be a person invested in the community. So as I said, we were very happy when he was the person chosen to step into that role, because we knew we could depend on him to represent the best interests of the community. So when it was decided by whomever made the decision, and for whatever reason, that he should no longer be in that position, and as I understand it, it had more to do with a community forum that took place in the community that was attempting to address the very issue for which he was hired. So if you can't get fired at OPS for doing your job, then that kind of presents a problem for many people. If you can get fired for representing the community in which you are invested, that also presents a problem. So was it just a smokescreen to create such a position and to have such a person in that position, or were we really serious about creating this diversity in OPS and providing some equity and some representation and providing a voice? So I just want to say that I personally am very disappointed that that happened the way that it happened, and I feel like it was not only a slap in the face to him personally, but to us collectively as a community. And I just want to make my voice heard. I want to be known as one of those in the community that is concerned about the way that this happened. And I believe that it warrants some further discussion in OPS. Thank you.
Thank you. The next speaker is Walter Brooks.
My name is Walter Brooks, and I'm 6224 Bain Street. I'm here to protest the termination of one of our community's finest representatives and supporters of a better educational outcome for African American children in this city. I'm wearing black in unity with others present here tonight as a silent protest to this termination. In May 5th, 2014 issue of the Omaha World Herald, Sharif Lawaro was mentioned in an article promoting the new faces at OPS. Yet today, he is a terminated employee. OPS hired Mr. Lawaro as its first Director of Equity and Diversity with a pledge, I quote, to improve its outreach with families whom a needs assessment found often felt shut out of the district and work towards closing the achievement gap among minority students. The black community is proud of the work that Mr. Lawaro has been doing down here in the TAC building. The issue that has apparently precipitated his termination is one of the most egregious facing black families in Omaha and throughout the United States. The excessive use of suspension and expulsion for black children in our nation's public schools. There had been several community gatherings in North Omaha to discuss this situation. Because of growing interest, a third meeting was set to be held at one of OPS's own properties, North High School. An email of this scheduled meeting was sent to Mr. Lawaro, and he apparently forwarded it to other schools and administrators as an FYI for your information. Now, we all know that every teacher and administrator and principal in OPS is legitimately concerned with this issue. It affects every school in the city, especially where black children attend. So the topic was not the issue. It was Mr. Lawaro apparently sending it out over the company system, if you will, without authorization from his superiors. So the very person OPS hired to help address communication issues between the school system and the black community and other communities is now himself expelled. Hello? Because of violating a bureaucratic technicality? Is that what you're trying to tell me? That OPS is serious about diminishing the condemnation of hundreds of black children through its disciplinary guidelines, but has no problem firing a black employee either with the same sense of intolerance. I'll leave you with this reminder. Former president of Harvard University, James B. Conant, did a 3-year study of the American education system covering kindergarten through the 4th year of college and graduate school. He published his results in 1961. In the introduction to his book, with his results titled Slums and Suburbs. That's right, he titled his epic investigation of the American education system in 1961, Slums and Suburbs. He said, I quote, a caste system finds its clearest manifestation in an educational system, unquote. If you're trying to perpetuate racism and inequality in the United States, it's the educational system that is the best vehicle for that. It took almost 40 years, but even Dr. Kenneth B. Clark recanted his support for the desegregation of American public schools. Dr. Clark, I'll remind you, presented the iconic Dahl research study during the 1954 Brown versus Topeka Board of Education Supreme Court hearings on segregation in the American public school system, where he demonstrated that black children's inclination to select white dolls over black dolls was rooted in deep sense of racial inferiority. He said, and I quote, and I'll finish with this quote, I am forced to face the likely possibility that the United States of America will never rid itself of racism and reach true integration. I look back and shudder at how naive we were in our belief in the steady progress racial minorities could make through programs of litigation and education. Dr. Clark concluded, while I very much hope for the emergence of a revived civil rights movement with innovative programs and dedicated leaders, I am forced to recognize that my life has, in fact, been a series of glorious defeats. Today, looking at the Omaha School Board and your new chief administrator, after terminating Sharif Luaro, I feel his pain. Thank you.
Moving on to Robert Hutton. Is there a Robert Hutton?
My name is Robert Hutton. I live at 3216 California Street. I've lived there since 1961, and we have a new school board here. We have a new school also in this same area, Gifford Park. And Gifford Park's been fighting for this elementary school for a long time. We have put forth all kinds of area representatives of why we need the school. Well, it's finally being built, and thank goodness for that. Now, we have to have a name for this thing. There's all kinds of names available and such as that, but representing Gifford Park, it's Gifford Park Elementary. I see nothing wrong with that whatsoever. How much more proper could you name a school? You want to name it after some individual? That doesn't fit. It doesn't fit the area. The Gifford Park fits the area. Gifford Park neighborhood, we've been here for a long time. Our association has been very active, and we're going to remain active. I'm not part of the powers that be, you might say, but also I'm a member of the community, and I have been fighting for this thing for I don't know how long, way too long. But Gifford Park, what more can you ask for? It's an elementary school. It's in Gifford Park. Let's go for Gifford Park Elementary. Thank you.
That was our last public comment. Moving on to the consent agenda. I would entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda that is before us.
Before doing so, I just have a question about one of the items on the consent agenda. Sorry, I just had it. If we could remove items J7 for discussion.
Is that the only item?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda that is before us, exception of J7.
So moved.
A motion on the floor by Mr. Smith. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ryan. Any abstentions? Roll call, please.
Snow.
Aye.
Cassidy.
Aye.
Hallman.
Aye.
Cracky.
Aye.
Pearlman.
Aye.
Ryan.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Snipe.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Motion carries. Moving on to discussion and action items. K1A, the naming of the 32nd Invert School. We just moved it. And I believe the person coming up to speak is the incoming principal, Kim Jones. For the community, this school was built with thank you guys. The school was built with the Phase 1 bond money, so thank you guys so much for supporting the Phase 1, and we just passed Phase 2. This also is the first school that Omaha Public Schools will be opening, in my correction, of almost 40 years, so.
Well, first of all, good evening, and thank you, President Snow, as well as the members of the board and Dr. Logan, for giving us the opportunity to come tonight before you and share with you the consensus that we have had as a committee on the new school, the school colors, and the mascot. I would first like to give my little partners here the opportunity to introduce themselves. You're first, dear.
My name is Claire.
And which school are you coming from, Claire?
Kellam Elementary. My name is Indigo Duval.
And from?
From Kellam Elementary. My name is Nora Wessel, and I'm coming from Kellam Elementary.
We have a lot of Kellams representation here tonight. And I would just like to take 1 second and have those members of the committee that have been part of this process just stand up. Okay. And I want to extend a huge thank you, as well as to you, Mr. Hutton, as well. Okay. And my name is Kim Jones. I'm the newly appointed principal for the new school, which we currently refer to as 32nd and Burt Street. I am currently the principal at Menalusa. So we have a picture here of the school. I don't know, I'm sure everybody can see it. It's right across the street. It's exciting to go every day or every week and try to just keep up on all the progress. I know, isn't that neat? So there is a process when we name a new school, and I just kind of want to review that quickly for you. The principal, executive directors, parents of incoming students, and those parents were nominated by Ms. Kennedy from Dundee, Mrs. Collins from Kellam, as well as Dr. Nero from Field Club. We met 3 times. Our first meeting was in October, where we took suggestions from all stakeholders on the name, the colors, the mascot. Then in November, we narrowed that to 3 possible choices. And then in December, the committee met for a last time. We reviewed the final short list and made the final selection to bring before you, the board, tonight. So our final selection for approval, overwhelmingly, was the name of Gifford Park Elementary School. Our school colors were, as we chose to bring before you for a vote, are green, black, and gold, which matches the new color scheme for the school, according to the color board that the Ed Specs Committee came up with. Our mascot was the groundhog. There is a little legend of Whistle Pig in the Gifford Park community, and Whistle Pig is a groundhog that evidently travels across California Street and is in the garden in the community, and so it aligned very well with the colors, with the name of the elementary school we're presenting, so it's Gifford Park Elementary. And then we developed 2 primary mascots, one for the primary grades, which would be our younger kids of K-3, and then one for the older grades. It will be a school going up through 6th grade, so 4th through 6th. And these are the ones that we bring before you tonight for your vote and approval. And thank you so much.
Thank you.
Isn't that exciting? Thank you.
Okay, so I will open it up for anybody on the board if you have any comments or anything. Questions for Mrs. Jones? Seeing none. Go ahead, Dr. Logan. Yep, go ahead.
I wanted to, Mr. Hutton, I wanted to say to you, I am even more thrilled at the name of Gifford Park for your school. So some people in the audience are laughing because I talked about it when I first got here and said, why are we worried about the name? It's in Gifford Park. Wouldn't it be Gifford Park Elementary School? I didn't know about the naming process, so I'm glad that it worked out. Because I would have looked kind of silly. So I appreciate the fact that it makes sense for it, and I'm really happy for you, and I hope you're there on the first day to welcome those youngsters. I'm inviting you, and I'm sure Ms. Jones would love to have you.
For sure.
Thank you.
Yes.
Okay. 2013, I was elected to the school board, and I met a individual, Chris Foster, and when I was running, it was a special election, he told me he wanted to show me a project that the community's been fighting and advocating for. And he took me over to the Yates Community Center, and we sat in that room, and he told me about the history of Yates Neighborhood School, the first PTA in Omaha, and the history and the depth of history. And Chris Foster, if he's known of anything, he has tons of pictures. So he showed me all the pictures of the history of the school and advocated to have his neighborhood school come back. I had the opportunity to meet neighborhood individuals, and then one day we scheduled a meeting. We invited our board secretary there. At the time, we were discussing potentially doing a bond, and we talked about that neighborhood school. At the time, the school was slated to be at Yates. I didn't know that the community wanted to save the Yates Community Center, so they started another campaign, and we kept the center, and through the gracious help of Creighton and other individuals, we were allowed to purchase the land right next, and we got Gifford Park Elementary School. But many of you people in the community will see, when you walk outside this building, if I'm pointing the apartments, there are about 20 kids that play soccer in this parking lot every night. And if the lights aren't on in this parking lot, they're playing in the dark. And those kids will actually have a playground and a field to play on. And I'm very proud that this project is going up because those are refugee students and they don't have it in their community that their family came from. Now they have a school to call their own, and I'm very proud of it. So I will entertain a motion to approve item K1A.
So moved.
We have a joint motion by Mr. Smith and Dr. Holman.
Second.
Second by Mrs. Cassidy. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Cassidy,
Aye.
Holman,
Aye.
Cracky,
Aye.
Pearlman,
Aye.
Ryan,
Aye.
Smith,
Aye.
Snipe,
Aye.
Snow.
Aye.
8 ayes.
Motion carries.
Excellent. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we can call it Gifford Park Elementary School, finally. Moving on to item K1B, schematic design. Dr. Logan? K1B. Sorry, I caught you off guard. You're good. I believe this was an item on the consent agenda. Burke High School capital improvement and renovation. I believe we had a board member pull it off.
This afternoon, I received an inquiry from Mrs. Kratke in reference to the work being done at Burke for the auditorium. There are 3 things on there: lighting, rigging, and sound. After conferring with the project manager for the project, is determined that this is to upgrade the current systems.
Mrs. Kratke.
And the only comment I want to add to that is that I've been around for a long time, and the sound system at Burke has wavered from good to bad to terrible. And now it's going to be done, and I'm very happy to hear that, and I'm looking forward to being able to hear all the music and all the students that are up there doing a play or drama so that it doesn't drop down and then you can't hear what they're saying. So this is a real plus, and I just wanted to acknowledge that and be sure that the people in the Burke area are going to plan and look forward to that. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve item K1B?
Move approval.
There's a motion on the floor by Ms. Cracky. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ryan. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Holman?
Aye.
Cracky?
Aye.
Pearlman?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Smith? Aye. Snipe?
Aye.
Snow?
Aye.
Cassidy?
Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. Moving on to item K1C. Mr. Perlman.
And presumably that's J6 that's been moved?
Yes, J7. Is that correct? J7?
J7.
No.
Oh, correct. J7. So I'm looking at the second PDF there, the foundation and grants, 10,000 and under. Presumably that's a reflection of the prior PDF with the $951,000 budget adjustment. Is that correct? Mr. Snow?
1 second.
Because there's two PDFs. The first one is just a little more general in nature than the second one appears to be more specific.
Yes.
Okay. And so this is, these are documents that came out of the Committee on Claims, is that correct?
No.
Out of claims?
I'm sorry.
I couldn't answer that question for you. No.
Okay. I guess I'll just ask my question. It's related to the second PDF, the grant fund budget adjustments under 1B, the Learning Community of Douglas and Sarpy County Superintendent's Plan. I would just like some discussion of what this $261,000 is going to be utilized for and where the funds are coming from.
We just happen to have Ms. Perkins in the audience, if you'd like to have her come up and...
Ms. Jocelyn Perkins, sorry to put you on the spot.
She volunteered, I saw
She
it.
volunteered. We haven't seen you in a while. Welcome back.
Basically, this grant is for the superintendent's early learning plan. It involves Mount View, Gomez, Liberty, and Pinewood. What it pays for is home visitors and also community liaisons to go out and do that work, to develop families and help parents with play groups to develop early learning capacity in parents in the community. That is basically something that they've done every year. Each school has its own budget, depending on the FTE and the amount of that FTE. Any other questions on it?
Yes, I guess I'm just wondering where the source of the funding is from.
The source is from the learning community. We get paid in a 50, 30, 20 percentage. We're reimbursed.
Sure, I know that, but is it tax revenue or a grant fund? Or am I just mixing up terms? If it's from any entity like the learning community, is it considered a grant fund?
No, it's not a tax revenue, it is a grant.
Do you know their source of revenue for this grant?
I think I do, but I don't want to say without looking it up.
Okay. You can just, maybe sometime this week.
Can I follow up with you on that?
Absolutely, appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other questions, Mr. Perlman?
No, that's all. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you, Mrs. Perkins.
I just wonder,
Ms. Cracky?
can we all have a copy of what it is he's going to send?
Yes, so
Thank
any
you.
item that she will send will be sent through the board office, and every board member will be on that. That's a great suggestion. We'll be doing that. All right, moving on to approve item K1C. And this is grant fund budget adjustments. Anybody want to make a motion to approve item K1C?
I move to approve item K1C.
Thank you. There's a motion on the floor by Ms. Ryan, second by Dr. Holman. Roll call, please.
Cracky?
Aye.
Pearlman?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Smith? Aye. Snipe?
Aye.
Snow?
Aye.
Cassidy?
Aye.
Holman?
Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. If you guys look to the bottom of this, receipt of reports, we have our free and reduced lunch report for 2018-2019. Dr. Holman?
I move that the Board of Education go into closed session for the protection of the public interest and for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals to discuss with the superintendent, secretary to the board, Dr. Turnquist, Mark Warnicki, legal counsel, negotiations, legal advice, pending litigation, and real estate.
There's a motion on the floor by Dr. Holman to go into closed session. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Ryan. Roll call.
Pearlman?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Smith? Aye. Snipe?
Aye.
Snow?
Aye.
Cassidy?
Aye.
Holman?
Aye.
Cracky?
Aye. Aye.
8 aye.
Motion carries. Let me remind the board that the purpose for closed session is for the protection of the public interest, for the prevention of needless injury to the reputation of individuals, to discuss with the superintendent, secretary to the board, Dr. Turnquist, Mark Warnicki, and legal counsel. Negotiations, legal advice, pending litigation, and real estate. Let the record reflect that the board went into closed session at 7:30.